I'm here to really answer a question that people ask me all the time, which is, can I really have an 850 credit score? Or can I have good credit, period? We'll just break it down. Can I have good credit? Can it really happen to me? And one of the first things that I answer back is, why not? You know, why not? And the first thing that you have to decide if you want to have anything good in life, because a good credit score gives you good life. Would you all agree? Mm-hmm. How many of you all know that credit doesn't define who you are, but it sure does make your life a lot easier? Mm-hmm. Right? And so the first thing that you have to do when you're asking yourself, can I have, is the why. Your why will help you determine, answers the how. And I ask that by simply saying, what is important about good credit to you? And I have a challenge. I'm going to talk about that before I wrap up. And that's the very first exercise in our challenge, is to define what is important about good credit to you. And it's not a surface answer like, I want to buy a house. You can buy a house with a 640 credit score. That's not good credit, right? Or I want to buy a car. Or I want to send my kids to school. Those are sort of typically surface answers. In our exercise, we have you drill down 7 layers to really determine what's important about good credit. So the answer is different for everyone. But I submit that you have to ask yourself this question. And this is not just about credit, it could be about anything. But you have to ask, what is really my why? What is the driver, between me and what it is that I want to accomplish in life, so that you can be motivated and stay committed to do it? So that's the first thing. Can you have an 850 credit score? Absolutely. But you have to determine why that's important to you. Right? All right. So we talk about, when I talk about the why, it's also about our mindset. And let me share something with you. I heard something that was very profound when we think about our thinking when it comes to wealth. Now, my niche area is credit. I could talk about credit until you all want to leave here. So however long that takes, I could talk about credit, right? And that's something that I'm passionate about. It's not something I went to school for. It's not something I thought when I was growing up as a little girl I want to be a credit coach. I had some other dreams, trust me. But it is something that I have found to be very fulfilling. And so I'm passionate about teaching this subject. But when we talk about credit, you have to really talk about wealth, right? Because credit is your ability to gain wealth using someone else's money. That's basically what it is. And so when we think about wealth, I want you to think about how, and find yourself somewhere in this exercise or this statement I'm going to say. Poor people think day to day. Middle class people think week to week. Rich people think kind of month to month. Very rich people think year to year. But wealthy people think generation to generation. How's your thinking? What are you thinking? You thinking paycheck to paycheck? That's poor. But that could be a week. It could be middle class. You're one paycheck away from being poor, though. So how's your thinking? So when you think about your credit, I go beyond that. It's not just about your credit score. It's about how you're positioning yourself for wealth. And wealth should not be just for you and yours. Wealth is for your children's children, your generation. So I want you to kind of think about, have a wealthy mindset. So a lot of us here deal with finances and money. You can talk to Al about certain things. You can certainly talk to Reggie and Gloria about how to position yourself and set yourselves up to have a better wealth strategy. But it all does come from your thinking, right? Because you can put tools in place, but if you're not thinking the right way, those tools may not really get you where you want to be. So let's get back to your credit score. Keep me on track, Reggie. Let's get back to your credit score. Can you have an 850? First of all, did you even know that an 850 existed?
They're trying to push it to 900.
Well, it depends on the model. Some models already do go above 900. I had a gentleman say to me, there's no one that he could think of, no one that he could think of that had a 700 or above credit score. Not one person that he could think of. So, immediately I told him, you need to change your circle. There's something wrong with that. You need to change your circle. You need to have people who have good credit. Because in his mind, because there was no one around him who had good credit, he didn't think that he could ever have good credit. And the sad part about that is our credit is one area in our lives that we really can't change. But you have to understand and know the credit system so you can win at the credit game. But credit, you can fix it. So for people who kind of stay in the mindset of, I'll never have good credit, have that poor mentality. You see how those things kind of correlate? So you can have an 850. The typical FICO model goes between a 350 and an 850. What people don't, now there's not a whole lot of people walking around, I'm gonna put this disclaimer. There's not a lot of people walking around with an 850 credit score. It's not that it's impossible, but it's just not a lot of people. But if you get yourself to at least about the mid 700s, you will actually have the same financial opportunities that you have with an 850. But I can't have you thinking small. So we're thinking 850s, right? But I don't want you to walk out of here and think, oh, I'm less than because I don't have an 850. But I want your goal to at least be, get yourself to about the mid 700s, and then you'll see that those same financial opportunities, meaning good interest rates, good conveniences. I mean, how many of you have ever walked into a car dealer and walk in with confidence? Like, cool, I want that one. Run my credit. I want that one. And I want this interest rate. And I want this model. I'm leaving in about 10 minutes. Wrap it up, I'm ready to go. That's confidence, right? But when you walk into a car dealer and either you have no idea where your credit is, or you know your credit is a little bit shaky, your palms are sweating, your heart is racing, that's all out of alignment, right? Physically for you, because you're nervous. And so when you become nervous because of the unknown, or because your credit is not where it needs to be, then you become desperate. Because I have to have a car. So whatever you tell me the rate is, I have to deal with that. So how many of y'all would rather be the first type of person? I certainly would. So good credit gives you good confidence. So we talked about kind of the range of where you could be. Most people don't realize that when we start establishing credit, we actually all started out with a high credit score. So we didn't start at a 350 and have to earn our way up. You started in around the 800, 850. You may not have ever seen it. It's like I don't remember ever being a size 4, but my mother says at some point in my life I probably was. I don't remember ever seeing that, so I just went right to whatever. So, but so same with credit, you actually started at a high number. But what happened was, as soon as information is reported about you, you lose your points. Okay? So if you think that way, now when you want to restore, get to an 850, you have to find activities that work with your profile specifically to gain your points back. Okay? So having an 850 is not difficult, but you have to understand how to accomplish that. I was just told I have 2 minutes. I wish I could tell y'all how. Don't you hate it when you go to church and your pastor's like right there giving you something good, and then he says, oh, my time is up, come back next week. That's kind of how I feel. But let me just tell you, there are a number of ways, right? And one of the things I wanted to leave you with, the way that there's a number of different credit systems. Like Stephanie just mentioned, they're going up to, there was actually a FICO, what we call it Advantage score, does range go up to about a 900, but it's not widely used. And so it's not the predominant system. But one of the things I need you all to understand is your credit is calculated based on the information that is in the database for each bureau at that moment. Why is that important? Because only the information it's sitting in the database at that moment is used to actually calculate your score. So if something negative happened, but it's no longer being reported, it's no longer being used to calculate your score. Okay? So only the information, and that information can change daily. So if I'm a creditor and I report something about you today, and tomorrow someone pulls your credit report, guess what? That score is going to change based on whatever is in the database. So here's the key things to remember. Pay your bills on time. If you don't do anything else, pay your bills on time. And I don't care if you have good credit or bad credit, that's 35% of your score, okay? And there's a number of other things, and that leads me into, you have a handout called the 21-Day Credit Challenge. If you really want to know how to get your 850 back, and this is for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're building, restoring, or maintaining good credit. I'm going to leave you right there because I'm not going to tell you how to do it. You have to register for the 21-Day Credit Challenge. Okay, this flyer says that it's free. The registration is free, but the challenge is $49.97. I just haven't updated that flyer, so let me just make a disclaimer right there. But join the 21. Basically, I teach a principle about credit for 21 days. I not only teach you about it, but I have you go through an exercise. Because knowledge is power, but without action is nothing, right? I heard something this morning when I was driving in, and it said there's 2 things in life, reasons and results. The problem is reasons don't matter. They don't count. It's only results, right? And so this challenge kind of, make sure if you're committed to it, I'm committed to sharing the information that you get the results that you need. The other thing I want to bring your attention to is the think of me. Real quick, I want to tell you who I'm looking for as a referral. The very first one is I am a speaker, so I love to educate and empower folks to make a difference in their life. So if you know of any events that are looking for a speaker, or they don't know they're looking for me, like you said, Tiffany, you tell them that they need me, okay? So that's one area that I'm always looking for. I'm always looking to talk to people who've been denied for any reason. You hear someone say, oh man, I got denied for whatever. They're a good referral for me. Let me help them get whatever it is that they're trying to get. Of course, you want to buy a home. Anyone who's been living with years of unfavorable credit and not getting the best out of their life, people who are paying cash for everything. Cash is king in some areas, but it's not in the credit world. So if you know someone that just doesn't deal with credit, have good credit, have bad credit, big victim of identity theft, those are very good referrals for me. We build up our credit and then we let someone else steal it from us. So we need to make sure that we have that type of protection in place. I want to also encourage you to download my mobile app. That is free. So download my mobile app. It's Credit with Chris. And stay connected with us. We have some exclusive tips that we only provide in the mobile app. Last but not least, this is a postcard. This is on the front is one of my most recent books. I'm working on credit and bankruptcy now. So that'll be released in the fall. This one is called Credit and Co-Signing. Know anyone before, during, or after a co-sign deal. I not only tell you about the pros and cons of co-signing, but for those who've been through it, I teach you how to restore. It's one thing that you already know you've made a bad decision. So I don't get to beat you up about that. I want to show you how to fix it. So that's our most recent book, Credit. What you need to know about credit and co-signing is part of a series. On the back is just some information about who we are. Also, we do free assessments. So anyone who is not sure about what's going on with their credit or how to improve it, they can text that phone number, the word credit, and be entered in to get a free, it's not entered in, everyone who contacts me, or we do a free phone assessment so I can help them to kind of get on their path and make the best decisions as to what actions they need to take.